into some of your questions and see what you guys want to know about our purple and gold. So the first question we have here is from James Yoder. He says, Hannah, can you give me a quick prediction for Lakers round 1 playoff opponents and how many games each series would go? So real quick, in terms of how many games each series would go, no one really knows because no one 100% knows the format of what the NBA is going to look like moving forward. If it does, when it does resume, we don't know if we're going to have 7-game playoff series. I think it's pretty safe to assume that we will have a 7-game playoff series. That's kind of what I'm hearing, but still don't know exactly for sure if when the NBA returns, if they are going to be just starting with where they left off, which I don't think is very likely because they had about 19 to 20 games, or if they are going to be doing what I think most likely they're going to be doing, and that is kind of play about half the games left. So I don't necessarily know if the standings are already done and kind of set. If that were the case, then of course the Lakers would be playing the Grizzlies at that 8th spot. Again, the Lakers were the #1 team in the Western Conference. They had 5.5 games over the Clippers for that 2nd place spot. So pretty obvious that the Lakers were going to be #1 in the West, and then the Grizzlies had a 2.5 game advantage for that 8th seed in the West. So it seems like it would be between the Lakers and the Grizzlies. However, if for some reason the NBA, gives them the opportunity where that 8th spot is still up for grabs, we actually had 3 teams that were tied for that 9th spot. Okay, those teams were Portland, New Orleans, and Sacramento. They were 2.5 games behind the Grizzlies, but you just never know, I guess. You could never really count out a team like Portland, which if I had to guess and say that would kind of be the next team besides the Grizzlies that the Lakers would most likely play. They're a very talented team. They're a team that notoriously has been making the playoffs for many years. They didn't really have that great of a season this year, but still would never really count out Damian Lillard and of course CJ McCollum. So it would be an exciting playoff match if the Lakers were to play Portland. It would also be exciting if for some reason the dark horse, the New Orleans Pelicans, were able to kind of sneak in and grab that 8th spot and play against the Lakers, of course, because as we all know, the Lakers, a lot of their former young players like Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, Brandon Ingram are on that team, of course, with Zion Williamson as well. So again, I think it's going to be in the first round of the playoffs, Lakers versus Grizzlies. But of course, don't count Portland out, and then of course New Orleans could be that dark horse. But who do you guys think out of these 3 teams? We've got the Grizzlies, we've got Portland, we've got New Orleans. Who do you think of the Lakers are going to play in the first round of the playoffs? Let me know down in the comments below. All right, now moving on to the next question. This one is from Ryan M. Spencer. What are 3 areas that the Lakers need to improve on before the season starts again? Well, it's kind of hard because, obviously our team is set, and so before the season starts, there's not much that we can change. There is just more, of course, things that we can kind of focus on and learn from maybe some of our mistakes this past season before this kind of shutdown, lockdown began. And I think the 3 biggest things that the Lakers are really going to need to focus on when the season resumes are outside shooting, of course, having guys come off the bench, especially that can be more reliable in terms of 3-point shooting. Then I think free throws. There were times where the Lakers' free throws were very inconsistent. Of course, in the playoffs, every point counts, so those free throws cannot be missed. And then, of course, defense. Obviously, the Lakers showed this past season that when they are buckled down on defense, they are pretty much unstoppable and unbeatable. So I think for me personally, we got the outside shooting, free throws, and defense are the 3 things the Lakers need to focus on moving forward when the season does resume. Val Castillo wants to know, what could a realistic Kuzma trade look like if they decided to move on from him this offseason? I know that they'll probably have to package him with a bigger contract like Green in order to get anything of value. I think that right now, talking about trading Kyle Kuzma is a little premature because, again, it's all going to depend on when the NBA returns how Kuz plays. Now, if he goes back to playing how he kind of just played previously this season, then there is a possibility that he could be moved. However, I don't really think it's likely because Kuz has a really, good contract right now. The Lakers aren't going to have to pay him for another summer, another year. So they've got a guy who's young, who is talented, you guys. I know he's played very inconsistent, but his contract is so cheap. So I also think it's just a little premature to talk about Kuz trade talks. Now, before the trade line, however, the Lakers were willing to part with Kyle Kuzma and trade him to the Kings. What the Kings asked for, they wanted Kyle Kuzma and Quinn Cook, and they were going to give us Nemanja Bjelica and a 2020 first round pick. Of course, the Lakers declined that, and then their counteroffer to them was that they would trade Kyle Kuzma and Quinn Cook to get Bogdanovich and a first round pick. Of course, the Kings denied that trade, said absolutely not going to happen. We're not trading Bogdanovich to you, but that was the Lakers counter offer. But again, I don't really think that the Lakers are going to be trading Kyle Kuzma. Now, of course, there are reports that say that they are looking to trade him, and an article that I actually found from Fansided listed 3 reasons why the Lakers may actually be willing to trade Kyle Kuzma. Their first reason, again, was talking about that they are going to have to pay him. Like I said, I don't really agree with that statement because we're not going to have to pay him for another year, you guys. So we still have him for another year for a very, very cheap contract, especially what Kuz brings, you know, talent-wise that he does have. He has shown the talent that he has. There's not many players out there that can bring that for as low of a price as Kuzma's right now. But still, Fansided is arguing that, you know, eventually Lakers are going to have to decide if they want to keep him and move on because they're going to have to pay him a much higher contract than what they're paying him right now. The article also mentioned that Kuz had a drop in production. Like I said, this past season, as we all know, Kuz was very inconsistent. So when the NBA does return, he's definitely going to have a lot to prove. And then, of course, their third point was that he doesn't really fit with Anthony Davis and LeBron James. Again, we're going to have to see how that all plays out once the season resumes. So I think it's a little premature to talk about Kuz trade talks at this moment. Going to have to wait and see how he plays when the season returns, if he's able to kind of be that Kuz that we were all hoping and expecting him to be, of course, before this past season started. Personally, I don't think that the Lakers should trade Kuz right now, but I want to hear from you guys. Do you guys think that the Lakers should trade Kyle Kuzma this offseason? If you do, type Y down below. If not, type N down below. But moving on to the next question we have from Adrian. Does the Lakers get Fred VanVleet in free agency? So Fred VanVleet is a great player, you guys. He's really coming off a tremendous year, honestly a career year, and I would love to have him on the Lakers, but I just don't think it's realistic, you guys. He's going to be making at least $15-18 million. He's a free agent this summer, and fortunately, I just don't think that the Lakers will be able to have enough money to sign him, but if they would and if they could, it would be an awesome fit. He's a great, talented player who could really help us, especially on the offensive end, but unfortunately, just don't think it's too realistic. It is going to be interesting to see, though, because obviously the Lakers are going to need to address that point guard situation this offseason, because that was something that they really did kind of prove to be one of their biggest Achilles heel, not really having a true reliable backup point guard, especially, or just a point guard that could really help out LeBron James. And there are a few nice free agents this year, this offseason, that we could mention that the Lakers could potentially be interested in. Besides VanVleet, there is Mike Conley, there's DJ Augustine, Goran Dragic, and Jeff Teague. So there are a number of players. Again, just if we're going to be able to afford them remains to be seen. But who would you guys like the Lakers to go and pursue in free agency besides those point guards that I just mentioned? Between Fred VanVleet, we've got Mike Conley, we have DJ Augustine, Jeff Teague, and Goran Dragic. Who would you like the Lakers to pursue? Let me know down in the comments below. Now, moving on, next question we have from Rashi Zamora. Could the fact that the Lakers are an older team help them turn it back on once we come back? I don't really think it's necessarily the age, but I think the Lakers do have an advantage versus because of their experience. Now, when you look at the Lakers roster, they have a lot of players who have championship experience and just a lot of players in general who have deep playoff experience. So I don't think that necessarily it's their age, but I do think that it is the fact that they have a lot of experience, especially in that playoff championship like atmosphere, that will give the Lakers a slight advantage of being able to turn it back on once the season resumes, definitely. Now, real quick, before we get into some more of your questions, I want to let you guys in on an awesome deal that we are having right now with one of our sponsors here, Fanatics. We've got some great LeBron James gear for you guys. If you want to check it out, rock all things LeBron James, then just make sure you head on over and go to chatsports.com/LeBron. We've got some really awesome LeBron James gear. We got some t-shirts, some hoodies, all types of stuff. We are having a sale on some of our items, not all of it, but definitely make sure you check that out. Make sure that you are rocking all things King James once the NBA does return. Again, all you have to do is go to chatsports.com/LeBron. But moving on, let's see what else you guys want to know. Next question is, should the Lakers trade up in the NBA draft? Personally, I don't really think they should. I understand that a lot of people believe that we need a point guard. We actually had a video come out where we discussed 5 potential point guards in the draft that the Lakers could pursue. So that's a great video. I'm going to make sure that I have that here available for you guys to go take a look at that. But in terms of if I believe that the Lakers should really trade up in the draft, I don't think so, just because we don't really have the assets in order to make a trade that it would make that much of a difference. Maybe we could trade up, a few spots. Right now, the Lakers have one of the last 2 spots in the first round, but I just don't think that we would be able to have the assets to really be able to trade up in one of the top spots where it would make much of a difference, in my opinion. Gabrielle Aldana wants to know, will AD sign with us? I believe he will. Obviously, AD is set to become an unrestricted free agent this summer in 2020. I personally think Anthony Davis is going to re-sign. Now, if he's going to be re-signing a long-term contract, or if he's just going to, take that player option, play 1 more year, and then be able to negotiate a contract next year when, of course, teams will have a little bit more money. The cap space may be a little bit more flexible. We just have to wait and see. But I definitely think Anthony Davis is going to be a Laker, you guys. He's wanted to be here. He wants to lead this team to not just one, but multiple championships, and the Lakers have really set him up in a great position to do so. So I'm not too concerned. I don't think AD is going anywhere. Next question that obviously also has to do with Anthony Davis, kind of talking a little bit more about the contract like I mentioned. It is from Val Castillo, and he wants to know, with a cap space probably taking a step back this offseason, do you think Anthony Davis will take a smaller 1-year deal to stay with the Lakers, or will he leave for a team that can pay him? Personally, for me, I don't believe that Anthony Davis is going to leave. Like I said, I think AD is here for the long haul. Now, like I said, this year he has 1 more year where he could just opt into that player contract, make $28 million, which is a good amount of money, and then negotiate next summer and see if, once the cap space situation is a little bit better, which I think that is what he is going to do. I think right now it doesn't make a lot of sense to maybe potentially, sign this long-term contract when a lot of teams don't have the ton of money. I think it makes more sense for Anthony Davis to opt into that player contract, that player year, pay for that $28 million this year, and then negotiate next summer, next offseason when things get better. But again, not too concerned about Anthony Davis leaving the Los Angeles Lakers at all. But let me know, do you guys think that Anthony Davis is going to be a Los Angeles Lakers for the long-term future? If you do, type 1 down below. If not, type 2 down below. All right, let's end with one final fun question. This one is from FLD about that. Who will the Lakers face in the finals? I think we would have to assume that it would be the Milwaukee Bucks. Obviously, something crazy could happen. We've seen some surprises take place, but I think it's pretty safe to say that the Bucks in the East are definitely going to be in the finals. Of course, we all know last season, in the finals, they were expected to win, but of course, did end up happening. So Giannis is going to be hungry to win his first championship, and if it were going to be between the Lakers and the Bucks, I think that would be an awesome championship round, you guys, because like I said, Giannis is hungry to win his first title. And of course, we all know that LeBron James wants to win another title. We have AD who wants to win his first championship. So it's going to be an awesome battle if it does come down to Lakers versus Bucks, which I personally think it will. But again, I may be a little bit biased because I am Laker fan. But sure enough, definitely think that the Bucks will be in the finals for sure. But that is going to be it for today's mailbag Q&A. Thank you guys so much for asking such awesome questions. As always, we talked about a lot. We definitely covered a lot. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give this video a double thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe here on Lakers Report so that you don't miss a single second when it comes to our Los Angeles Lakers. And until the next time, Laker Hand is out. Bye, guys.